Kelly.
Hey, Will.
So you want to learn a new app?
Sure, why not? I actually have a lot to learn, especially about my job.
Let's download it. It's free, I think.
Oh.
You want to do the honors?
Okay, here goes.
Now that was fast. So, give us the short version of what you know about Coca-Cola beverages, and I'll show you how to use this app.
Now this I know. The Coca-Cola Company is the world's largest beverage company with over 450 sparkling and still brands. And I personally love the Coca-Cola Classic the best.
Pretty good so far. Just so you know, 1 gallon of Coca-Cola Classic syrup makes 43 finished drinks.
43? That's got to be some good profit, huh?
It's about $1 per drink, which is around an 80% profit margin. That's why pushing Coca-Cola fountain drink sales is a smart way to improve the bottom line of the restaurant. Thus the name of this app, Valves of Gold. There's big-time value when you have good fountain drinks.
That makes sense. And of course, if the restaurant does well, we employees do well. I think it's called added job security.
Good point. So, to keep filling those glasses with perfectly prepared, smoothly flowing, thirst-quenching delights, we have to know how to take care of the dispenser.
Okay, I'm ready. Where do we start?
There are 5 steps to the quality care of this valuable system.
And a star for each step in the plan.
Yep. Ready to download the first step? It's called rotation, or keeping close track of the age of the syrup, knowing when to rotate it.
Here goes. I love this app. So I'm guessing you read the date on the package to know how old it is.
Yeah, it actually says enjoy by date. A syrup box is good for about 75 days. For proper syrup rotation, think first in, first out, or FIFO. Use the oldest first.
FIFO? You're weird.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so if the box was there first, it needs to be used first. And like anything else, never use it past its enjoy by date. I would just arrange the boxes in that order and keep the older ones separated from the new ones to be sure.
You make this easy, Lil. Just make sure you store them in a cool, dry place, and you've got that part down.
Cool and dry. Got it. What's next?
Well, to minimize your downtime when you change them, make sure the syrup packages are connected just right. Oh, and we actually call a syrup carton a BIB, or bag-in-box.
Cute. So how do I change the BIB?
Well, after you wash your hands,
Yeah, with soap and water, I know.
then you make a 2.5-gallon sanitizer solution with K5 or a similar approved chlorinated sanitizer.
Can you use bleach?
That would be a big no.
Understood. And?
And next, unscrew the syrup line connector and remove the empty box. Open the flap using your palm, pull the bag through and remove the dust cap. Then clean the syrup connector by soaking it in your sanitizer solution for 1 minute.
So it's unscrew the syrup connector and take the empty box out, open the flap, pull out the bag and take off the dust cap, then just soak it for a minute.
Yep. Then just reconnect the syrup line to the bag connector and tighten it up. And this is important. You have to do this every time you change a BIB. No shortcuts.
It's pretty short anyway. No problem.
Good. Ready to move on to the next step of quality in our Valves of Gold app?
If I get to download another star, then yes. This app is easy so far.
Then go for refrigeration or temperature.
Done. Now, let me guess. Keep the temperature cold.
Right. Specifically, the drink needs to be 40 degrees or less before the drink hits the ice. If not, carbonated drinks will foam or melt the ice.
Ew, which means a flat or watery beverage. Had one of those before. So what makes the drink stay cool?
In an ice-cooled system, the cold plate is a big deal. It's sealed at the bottom of the ice bin in a drop-in and ice combo. The first step is to make sure the cold plate is totally covered with ice and the bin is at least 1/3 full. And make sure it's draining properly, because if it's not, you'll get hot, flat drinks with a lot of foam. If it isn't draining properly, call 1-800-241-2653, Coke, for assistance.
Okay, so that cold plate is the most important part.
Right. Remember to stir the ice throughout the day to make sure the ice is always in direct contact with the cold plate. In an ice combo, the agitator will stir the ice automatically for you. Oh, yeah. It's really important to keep the inside of the ice bins clean and never leave anything in the ice like scoops or water bottles. It's unsanitary and can cause contamination.
Don't want that. So if you don't have the ice combo, make sure to stir the ice occasionally to keep that plate covered and keep only ice in the clean ice bin.
That covers it. No pun intended.
You're funny.
Yeah, well. And hey, never use bagged ice in the bin because it can be super frozen and you'll get chunks you don't want. And if it's an ice combo unit, that bagged ice can destroy the motor. For counter-mechanical and remote refrigeration cooling systems, it's best to keep all the air vents free from anything blocking them. And of course, keep the machine, the electrical cords, and the insulated lines away from any heat source.
That should be done by the installers, right?
Sure, but it needs to be kept that way. Also make sure all the tubes stay well connected. Just check them every now and then.
So how cold do the drinks have to be again?
40 degrees or below. Now let's measure it and see.
Okay.
So to check the temperature, you'll need a good thermometer.
You think?
Well, they don't all work correctly. So to check it, put it in a cup of ice water until the temperature stays constant. It should read exactly 32 degrees Fahrenheit.
That would be freezing.
And a good way to test. Now, if the valve hasn't been used in the last 30 minutes, dispense a 20-ounce drink and pour it out. This measures the temperature of a drink from its actual pouring conditions.
Okay, so at that point, we pour another glass of the drink to test its temperature.
Exactly. Just stir the thermometer around gently for about 15 seconds, and it should read 40 degrees or less.
Okay, but what if it's above 40?
Well, then you better call 1-800-241-COKE and get some help fixing the problem.
Easy enough. So what's next? Can we download the next part of the app?
Yes, it's time for the third step to quality in our valves of gold, the carbonation star.
It's all about the bubbles. Here goes.
Nicely done. Now, 75% of our beverages are carbonated, so you won't need to carbonate everything, but let's get those done right.
Agreed. So what's first?
Well, check to make sure the CO2 tank has CO2 in it. If it's a high-pressure cylinder, like a 20 or 50-pound tank, the needle needs to be at or above 1/4 full at all times.
What if it's not at 1/4 full?
Well, then check to see if the valve is completely open by turning to the left.
Oh, always remember, lefty loosely, righty tightly.
Works for me. So if you have a bulk CO2 tank, find the gauge on the top and make sure it's above 1/4 full. If this gauge reads 90 or less, call the supplier for a refill.
So 1/4 full is the heads up to get ready for a refill. Got it. But what about the amount of carbonation going in?
Got it covered. Let me introduce you to the carbonator.
Impressive.
It is. See, water and CO2 come in here and here. The carbonated water comes out here. In order to regulate the pressure coming from the CO2 tank, we've got this high pressure regulator. See this gauge that goes from 0 to 160 psi?
Yeah, so what should it read?
The proper pressure setting is 105 psi.
Okay, so if it's not, I bet I call 1-800-241-COKE.
You bet right. Some of the regulators don't have gauges, so if you're having issues, that's the number to call too.
I'll write it on my hand just in case.
Whatever works for you. Now, not to be confused with the carbonator, is the low pressure regulator. This is the guy that supplies CO2 and moves syrup through the system, and his proper PSI is 65.
So the carbonator at 105 psi mixes the water and the bubbles. Then the low pressure regulator at 65 psi moves the syrup through, and they meet up and give me an awesome Coca-Cola classic.
Yes, and every other carbonated drink in your dispenser.
What about when that cylinder's empty?
But just switch it out. Loosen the connection nut with a CO2 wrench or box end wrench and slowly turn it to the left. Now remove the hose by unscrewing the large nut. Unfasten the chain or bracket on the empty cylinder and move and secure it.
That's easy. Then just move the new one into place and secure it in.
Correct. But make sure you check the seal inside the large nut for damage and debris. Can't tighten it well if it's messed up.
Wait, how's that done?
Well, just clear the connection by opening the valve a little to blow out any hidden debris. Turn it away from your face so interesting things don't blow into it. Then fasten the large nut to the new cylinder and retighten. Now you open the cylinder valve all the way and make sure the pressure gauge is set correctly.
Okay, so just loosen it a little and let it push out any debris, then tighten it in and check the gauge. No problem.
Good. If you have a problem or suspect a leak, call
1-800-241-COKE.
Hey, you didn't even have to look at your hand note. By the way, if you have a bulk tank, the supplier needs to do the refill.
Good. So can we go to the next step in quality for the valves of gold?
Absolutely. That would be presentation or cleaning.
Not my favorite, but let's do it.
It's really not hard when you know how to do it.
Well, that's what my mom says.
Well, you should listen to your mom. This is one of the easiest ways to meet your customers' expectations for quality, by keeping the dispensing system clean and sanitary. These daily, weekly, and monthly tasks will do the trick.
Okay, what do we do daily?
Okay, well, after you wash your hands, prepare a 2.5 gallon of K5 or chlorine-based sanitizer solution, just like you used when you changed the BIB.
Okay, got the cleaning solution part down.
So remove the nozzles and diffusers from the dispensing valves and clean in the sanitizer solution with a nozzle brush, putting them in the solution for at least 3 minutes before you let them air dry.
Well, that's not long. Then what?
Then clean the lower valve body with a lower valve body brush and sanitizer solution, and wipe it with a clean towel. Then wash your hands again and reinstall the dry nozzles and diffusers. Then just activate the valves for 10 seconds and have a taste from each valve.
Now I'll enjoy that part.
Yeah, it's a good perk. So then to clean the drip pan, pour the sanitizing solution over the cup rest and down the drip pan drain. Remove the rack, then wipe it all down with a clean towel and the solution.
So basically, we need to clean all surfaces of the dispenser with the sanitizer solution.
Basically, yes. Just know how to clean the small parts the right way. Now, for a drop-in ice-cooled system, empty the ice bin and pour in a ½ gallon of sanitizer solution. Clean all interior sides with a clean towel and solution and wipe it dry. Now for an ice combo, clean the ice chute with an ice chute brush and sanitizer solution.
An ice chute brush. That's convenient. So what about weekly tasks?
Weekly, you follow the same guidelines for cleaning BIB connectors. Disconnect the syrup line from the empty BIB, soak the connector in sanitizer for 1 minute, and then reconnect.
That's easy enough. And monthly?
Same cleanliness procedures and mixing. Empty the ice bin and pour in a ½ gallon of sanitizer solution. Clean all interior sides with a clean towel and solution and wipe it dry. For counter mechanical, it's best to keep all the air vents free from anything blocking them. Finally, make things easy for everyone by keeping the valve labels current. Make sure to label the side the customer sees. Don't just put them in backwards or upside down. Make sure the valves are labeled and working properly also. Bottom line, keep all the labels fixed. Take off the old ones before you put on the new ones. And guess who you call if you need more labels?
1-800-241-COKE. I guess that means we're up to our 5th step to quality?
The valves of gold steps are almost complete. The last one is sensation. Taste.
My personal favorite. So why do we have to learn anything about taste? You just taste.
Because taste is why people buy Coca-Cola fountain beverages. It comes from the perfect balance of carbonated water to syrup poured over the right ice.
Well, I already know that 1/3 cup of ice should be scooped up for every serving. And I don't mind at all tasting each beverage at the start of the day to make sure it's perfect.
Awesome. Just remember to keep an extra eye on Sprite and Minute Maid lemonade. It may be hard to tell when the syrup runs out since both are clear.
What about the water? Any facts to know?
Well, the obvious is taste and smell. If it's not right, you may need a water filter. Just phone your favorite number and they'll help you locate an authorized water filter company.
What if it has a filter already?
Well, the filter may just need to be replaced, or it may be on bypass. Just check.
So we're done?
Yeah. You think you've got it?
Most of it. And I have a quality manual and troubleshooting guide if I need a refresher on anything. And of course, the number. That was pretty painless.
I thought so. Now, knowing and doing these steps will make your fountain drinks the valves of gold they're intended to be.
I'm glad to be a part of that. But mostly, now I know my Coca-Cola classics will be delicious every time.
Good luck, and thanks for your business.